So we have learned how to represent the molecules in the molecular form, empirical form, condensed form, semi-condensed form, or finally how to show it in a structural form. And we also saw that how we can visualize a molecule in 3D using wedge and dash representation. Now within wedge and dash representation, we usually get the solid lines also, which represents they are on the plane. This wedge, a solid wedge always represents it is coming out of the plane, and dash wedge or this dash line represent it is going inside the plane. This is a general representation. Okay. On that basis, we saw how to draw the structure of methane from different views. This is a three-dimensional structure, and if you view it from this end, these two groups which are there will lie on horizontal plane here, and these two would go onto the vertical plane here. The same can be visualized from this end also, where you can have 1, 2 on the vertical line and this 3, 4 on the horizontal line. This way we were able to represent. Now, what we will do, we will try to do next for ethane, the same thing what we have done it for methane. We'll try to do the same thing for ethane and see what would happen. So in generally, when we write about ethane, it would be C2H6, where we'll have carbon and 3 hydrogens connected to it. So the general representation of ethane is this one. Now, if you represent ethane in this particular form, see like this, and showing the wedge lines here and dash line here like this, same way wedge line here and dash line here, and showing that these are all hydrogens. What we can see here, I will always take this as the front carbon, this as the back carbon. F represents front carbon and B represents back carbon. And when ethane exists in this particular form, where this hydrogen and this hydrogen are almost on the same plane, these two hydrogens, this one and this one, are on the same plane, and these two hydrogens are on the same plane. When all of them are coinciding with each other, we call them as eclipsed. This form is called eclipsed. And from this eclipsed, imagine if I make a 1-degree turn. Okay, I'm rotating the back carbon rotation. So I'm holding this carbon and rotating it by 180 degrees. Okay, so if at all I rotate this, what would happen? This H, which was down, should come up, and the hydrogen which is going inside should come on this side, and this hydrogen should come on this side. So what I will do, I will use different colors here to represent that. These two hydrogens, which I'm coloring in pink, right? These are the ones which are coming out of the plane, or I can say that these are on the right hand side, and these two which are back, let me say these are on the left hand side, or they are going inside the plane. The minute I make a 180-degree turn here with the back carbon, see what would happen. Now this hydrogen which was down will come up this way. These two haven't changed because I have not changed the position of these two hydrogens. This is the way it is, hydrogen. But if you observe these two carbons now, correct, the one which is in this pink color will go inside, and the one which is in this green color, light green color, will come outside. Okay, I think you should be able to imagine that the hydrogen which was coming outside, now imagine it is going 180 turn, which means it should go inside now, and the one which was already inside, if I make a 180 turn, that should come outside on this side. So therefore what you will see now is this hydrogen which is coming out, and there is one hydrogen which is going in, like this. And which one is that? This one is that pink one now, okay, and this one is the, this one is that pink one now, and that one is that green. I guess this is clear. Or anything which is coming out of the plane, you can, if you don't have any color representation, I would suggest use this as right and this as left. So you can see this left and right are intact here, but here the right one went inside, the right one went inside, and the left one came outside. I guess all of you are able to understand that, how the rotation has happened here. So when I make a ethane molecule which appears in an eclipsed form, as soon as I rotate that into this particular form, and it has become a molecule where on this plane, on this hydrogen, I don't see any hydrogen on here, but it is on the opposite side. Same way, this hydrogen and this hydrogens are in the same plane, but they are in the opposite side. These two hydrogens are in the same plane, but they are opposite to each other. This kind of a representation is called staggered. This is called staggered representation. So this is an eclipsed form, that is a staggered form of ethane. Okay. Now, if at all I start with staggered, imagine if at all I start with staggered and rotate 180 degrees, rotate 180 degrees with the back carbon rotation. Can you see that if at all I rotate this again, same hydrogen will come down, this hydrogen will go in, and this hydrogen will come out. So which means I would be able to get the eclipsed form again. So from staggered, you can convert into eclipsed, or eclipsed you can convert into staggered form. All of you understood this, right? How you can convert, please understand this. This carbon and carbon bond is a single bond. If you know how the bonding is, this carbon is sp3 hybridized, this carbon is also sp3 hybridized, and both of them are falling on the internuclear axis, and this is an internuclear axis. On the internuclear axis, if there is only single bond, it is easy to rotate. Okay, so there won't be any problem in rotation. So this bond can be easily rotated, so all these molecules can move. So if I make a 180 degrees movement, I will convert an eclipse to staggered, or if it is a staggered form, I can convert into eclipsed form. This has been named, like if both the groups here, you can see if this group which is coming outside the board and this group which is coming outside the board, they lie on the same plane. So you can observe that it is this a plane on which both of them are lying. Can you see that? Like this. This is the plane on which they are lying. Like that, all of them will happen. So these two, you can see these two are lying on the same plane. Backside, these two are lying on the same plane. When that kind of a molecule is observed, that particular structure is called eclipsed form. Now this is representation for ethane. Sorry, you'll still get the same thing because you're not breaking the bonds now. As long as you don't break the bonds, whether you do clockwise rotation or anti-clockwise rotation, it does not make any difference. It is the same molecule. There is no change in the molecule because you are not breaking any bond. Only thing you are changing is, the closeness of the molecules, closeness of the atoms. Here you can see these two atoms are very close. Here these two atoms are very close. These two atoms are very close. But now they are far. Can you see that? Now the distance between the atoms have increased. Here this has increased. Here it has increased. Alright. So only you are changing their distance by rotation. Now Sauer's projection for the same, if you take ethane and I want to put Sauer's projection is nothing but a side view. It is a side view. how I can represent? I will only represent with the bond lines here, like this. If at all I put it, and I put with all bond lines here, same hydrogen. Keep writing with me, everyone. Hydrogen's here, and this is the front carbon, this is the back carbon. So can I say this is the staggered one? Sorry, this is eclipsed one. Instead of showing in 3 dimension that one is coming outside and inside, I'm just putting it as a side view, okay, like a photographic image. Imagine like a photograph which you have taken. All right. So this is the way it looks like. Okay. Either you can put it straight this way, or you can write it this way also, the same thing with some angle, like this, down and down here with hydrogen. In school you may have learned while doing painting we do this, right? We'll put sideways. So this is that H, 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 H and H. Okay, again I'll just show you the colors which I used. This one was the pink color which I used. These are the green ones which I used. You can either show it in this manner or you can show it in this manner. I find this left one as more easier way of writing, because here you have to precisely check out the angles. Okay? So it becomes a little difficult to show. So better thing is I will adopt this one from now onwards. Now if I take this staggered eclipsed form and just showing you the same thing what I did earlier, rotating 180 degrees of the back carbon. So what should I get? This bond line is same, this bond line is same. Now this bond line has moved up and these two are same, like this, and here these bond lines have come down. So here this is hydrogen, hydrogen, hydrogen. These three are the hydrogens, and you can see this one has not changed and this has come, the green one has come down there, and this has moved down here, and this is the one which is pink. Got it? Or you can always take this as right, left, right, left. This is right, left, and here if you check out, this right has come down to this side and left has went to that side. What do you call this form now? This is staggered form. So you should be comfortable in questions if it is given in a Sawhorse projection, if it is given in a 3-dimensional projection. Got it? Any projection you should be able to be understanding how it is, right? Eclipsed means, okay, valencies, which means those carbon connections are in front of each other, in front of each other of adjacent carbons, okay? So you can see that if I take this eclipsed form, one carbon is in front of the other, one group is in front of the other group, like this group is in front of this group is in front of this group is in front of this group. Okay, so there are adjacent carbons. Now in here, when they are adjacent to each other, you know there would be some bond pairs existing here. There is one bond pair here, there is one bond pair here. Here there are bond pairs like this, correct? Then we can expect, because they are in front of each other, I can definitely expect that there would be some bond pair repulsions here. There would be some bond pair repulsions here. Okay. At the same time, because of the crowding of these molecules, okay, because of the crowding of this valency groups here, whatever the groups which are here, I'm showing hydrogens, but what if there are other molecules? Then also we can see there are some repulsions here. So we will definitely see two types of repulsions here. Okay, same thing happens with other side also. You know, these two pink ones will repel with each other, these green ones will repel each other. and their bond pairs will repel with each other. Got it? So the repulsion is happening because of two means. I will add this as A type of repulsion and B type of repulsion. So A type of repulsion is because of the bond pair repulsion. And this type of repulsions are called torsional strain. Torsional strain. So when the strain is being developed, acha, what is strain? Strain is nothing but just a transformation. Got it? So same thing will happen between the bond pairs here. If bond pair will repel, we will experience something called a torsional strain. Okay. Same way, if the repulsion happens between the entire cloud of electron, this cloud of electron and this cloud of electron are repelling with each other, right? Then we will have van der Waals strain. This is van der Waals strain. Okay, also known as steric strain. In this case, we don't have angle strain. As we go ahead, I will show when the angle strain comes into existence. Everybody, please show these strains, how they look like. Start writing. Angle strain happens within the carbon atom, like these two repulsions. These two repulsions, if they increase the angle, that is angle strain. Okay. Write down staggered. Staggered means valencies are at maximum distance, so that the repulsions will be minimum. Okay, which is what you'll experience when you take staggered. In staggered, because you can see they are quite far away from each other. Now, with respect to this bond pair, there is no other bond pair here to repel. Here, the repulsion may happen between this bond pair and this bond pair, but that is less. That is very less, significantly less. So mainly the side-by-side repulsions, which has to be more, now it has reduced. Okay, as you separate them to the maximum distance. Two groups which are aligned on the same side. Got it? Now there may be van der Waals strain between these two, but that is ignorant. Got it? So we are only considering those groups which are side by side or which are in line. So all of you got that? What is staggered and what is eclipsed, and what are the two types of repulsions? Now, I hope all of you made a note of this. Let us see what is a Newman projection. Give the heading as Newman projection. Newman projection is also reviewed as front view. See, first we check out the three-dimensional view, then we have checked side view. Now I'm putting the front view. How does the front view look like? All right. So if I take any eclipsed form like this is an eclipsed form. On this eclipsed form, I would make this carbon and this carbon as front and back carbon. So what I'll do, the front carbon I will always represent with a point. Remember this, front carbon I'm always taking as a point. From the point, I have one hydrogen here, I have one hydrogen here, and one hydrogen going down. Okay. In reference, I'm taking all of them as hydrogens. First, we'll study everything with respect to ethane, then we can generalize that. So this is the front carbon. So this is the front carbon which I'm taking. Okay. And this is the right side hydrogen, left side hydrogen, right side, left side, and this is on the center line. This is how the front carbon looks like. This plus back carbon. For it, I have to add both of them to show the Newman projection. So how the back carbon is, since if you make a view from this end, see, you're trying to watch from this end, right? So you're trying to make a view from this end. So when you're trying to make a watch from here, obviously this carbon can't be found. You won't be able to see this carbon, which means this carbon is just behind this carbon on the front carbon. Since we can't view that, what I'm doing, I will take that in a circular form. Got it? So this is the back carbon now. So this is the back carbon. On the back carbon, I have H here, and I have H here, and I have H here. So this is the right carbon, left carbon. So when you add both of them and put it at one particular structure, right? So then how does it look like? Now it will look like this. This is the back carbon. Okay. On the back carbon, I have these three groups like this. And from the front carbon, which is starting from this center, right? It is also coinciding with this hydrogen, but you know, I have to show that it is coinciding. So that's why I will just simply write slightly parallel to that with small gap. Okay, because this hydrogen is exactly coinciding with this, eclipsing with this. This hydrogen is eclipsing with this. This hydrogen is eclipsing with this. But in diagram, I have to show them where it is. So that's why I'm taking a small gap to show. Therefore, this hydrogen and these two hydrogens here, when you write this down, so you should be able to visualize that this are both of them. This is also right one, left one, and rest two hydrogens are center one. So this type of a representation is called Newman projection. Now, if this Newman projection, if at all I take this Newman projection and make a 180 degrees rotation on the back carbon, 180 degrees rotation on back carbon. Okay. So on this circle, think more like steering now. This is a car steering from where I have to hold this part of the steering wheel and rotate and bring it here so that it will turn 180 degrees. Back hydrogen which is present here, as you steer, it would come to this side. And this bottom hydrogen will go on to the top and it will come here. Okay. So how does it look like now? So on this back carbon, you can see on this back carbon, this hydrogen has come down here, this hydrogen has come down here, and the one which is at the bottom went up. Center of the front carbon, I have not moved anything, it is at the same location. So this is how the structure comes down. So this is that right hydrogen which was there, this is that left hydrogen, okay, and front carbon hydrogens are intact. So if you can see what we got now, if you remake that into the Sawhorse projections, right? So this is this Sawhorse projection. So this is the front carbon. On the front carbon, the view is still this way. But on the back carbon, this is the back carbon on which this hydrogen has went up. So I can write this as, I can write this up, and these two have come down. Okay, so same carbons which we wrote earlier. So either you can make a 180 degrees using these projections, or you can use this Sawhorse projections. Understood? Holding these three, if at all I make a rotation of 180 degrees here, so what would happen? This hydrogen will come out, this will come this side, this hydrogen will come onto this side. So this staggered form which I am getting, one is in Newman projection, one is in Sawhorse projection. I hope you guys understood what is Sawhorse projection, Newman projection and Sawhorse projection. Once you know the projection better, you will be able to first figure out which type of conformers, which is our next thing to learn, are more stable or less stable. This is first thing we will learn. Second thing, there are many biological molecules, biological compounds, where the entire molecular structure is exactly same, but their three-dimensional structure, when you write it, they would be either in this eclipsed form, staggered form, and so on. That would also change a lot of biological properties. Understood? So you need to be very precise when you're talking about a molecule. Whether it's very simple, when we eat about glucose, okay, when we are eating sugar, the sugar which we eat or natural sugar which we consume, it is always a D sugar. You'll always see this as glucon D, right? Okay, this is a D sugar. Structure wise, L sugar, D sugar is exactly same, but we are consuming only D sugar because our body's natural tendency is to only consume D sugars. If you consume L sugar, that will give a lot of side effects. Same is the case with all the drugs. Got it? In fact, the cancer drugs, the cancer cells will replicate the entire structure of a cell. Understood? So you can't differentiate a difference between uh, what do you say, a cancer cell and your body part cell. Got it? But their functionality would be different based upon their structure like this. Understood? So to understand that exactly this is the problem that a cancer is doing, you have to create a drug which will exactly hit onto that cancer only. That is called target drugging. Next type of a projection. Okay. Next type of a projection is Fischer projection. This Fischer projection. Very, very important. Fischer projection. How you view the molecule. Now this is a top view. So we have learned side view. We have learned front view. Now we are learning top view. How does the top view looks like? Again, I'll start with the sawhorse because sawhorse is most comfortable form. From there, we can convert into any form now. I can write this way also. This is also the right sawhorse projection. Okay. So imagine these three hydrogens. How they are? Is this eclipsed form or a staggered form, everyone? Eclipsed form. Right. So remember that. Yeah. It is an eclipsed form. Now, in the eclipsed form, watch carefully. Okay. Now, you are viewing from this end. This is your eye. You are watching from this end. Got it? So when you are watching the molecule from this end, can you see these two hydrogens and these two hydrogens will be facing towards you and these two hydrogens will be away from you? Okay. And in here, what I'm doing, you know, this is the front carbon, this is the back carbon, right? Okay. So what I'm doing, I'm always watching such a way, this back carbon, which is there, I'm putting it on top, and front carbon, I'm always putting it down. So imagine this carefully, check out how it looks like. This is the back, this is the back carbon, this is the front carbon. It's too big, make it small. Yeah, this is the front carbon, this is the back carbon. And on the back carbon, if you observe, these two hydrogens are pointing towards you. Okay, these two hydrogens are pointing towards you. This one is the right one, this one is the left one. Right one, left one. Okay, right. So the right one, H, which is right one, and H, which is left one, they are pointing towards you. And front carbon also, both these hydrogens are trying to be close to you. So this is also hydrogen, hydrogen, right one, left one. And the other two hydrogens are going inside. How many of you are getting the feel of it, that you are able to see this molecule and observe it this way? Anyone who's not able to see that, they can tell me. Left and right? No. You are watching from here only, no beta? Got it? Oh, right. This right and left would be changed. Okay. This is right. This is left. Right and left. Okay. No. Both the carbons, both these carbons, check out. Both this entire frame is on the plane, on the board. Okay. This frame is on the board. Got it? And now these two carbons are on the board. So once you get this sawhorse projection, this is like an image where these two hydrogens are going inside and these two hydrogens are coming outside. So for this, I will put it in a complete two-dimensional fashion this way. Now this is in a complete two-dimensional view where you have hydrogen here, 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 and here. So this is a three-dimensional view and this is a two-dimensional view. So this two-dimensional view which I have put down, this is called Fischer projection. This is Fischer projection. And one very important note, Fischer projection is always the eclipsed form of that molecule. Okay, Fischer projection will always be the eclipsed form. So I'll just make a note of that and write this important points. First, Fischer projection, front carbon is down carbon. This is that front carbon, this is that back carbon. Okay. Second thing, Fischer projection is always the eclipsed form of the conformer. Now what we will do, we will start with the basic structure, then we'll go into the Sawhorst projection, then to the Newman projection, and finally coming towards the Fischer projection. Okay. So you will get a complete idea about how to interconvert one another. Why can't we write Fischer projection to staggered form? Okay. Right. Problem is, if this is up and this is down, correct? You are viewing from this end, these two will come out, these two will go inside, correct? And this will come outside, right? The image will look similar. The image will look, even for the staggered position, the image will look similar, correct? But Fischer projection, he made a particular rule that everything that is horizontal should point towards me. Anything that is vertical groups, that should point away from me. So interconversion of one to another. So we will take one example where we will start with the original structure, three-dimensional structure this way, where let us take this as bromine. Let's say there is hydrogen here. Keep writing with me. Let's say there is chlorine here and one more hydrogen here, and this is CH3 and this is CHO. This is the front carbon, this is the back carbon. First, let me write it into Sawhorst projection. You can clearly observe that this is an eclipsed form because all of them are at facing each other. So first I'm writing into Sawhorst projection. Sawhorst. So if I convert into Sawhorst projection, Sawhorst is pretty easy. So we'll just write these lines here this way. Exactly the way how it looks like, we have to mention it like this. So this would be Br, H, CHO, CHO, CH3, Cl, and H. This is the Sawhorst projection. And this is that same front carbon, this is the back carbon. Okay. So this is the eclipsed form of that Sawhorst projection. Got it? Now same image, imagine either from watching this or by watching this, you should be able to figure out what is the Newman projection. See, I'm writing the Newman projection. Now I'm not telling you anything. You have to just visualize on it on its own what I have written. Okay. So the back carbon, first I'll put these groups, which is Br, CHO, and H. And the front carbon, Cl. I hope you guys understood how is the Newman projection. This is the Newman projection. So this is towards converting into Newman projection. So the last one is to convert into Fischer projection. Either I can directly start with the three-dimensional form, or I can view from the Sawhorst projection and do that. So now I'm coming towards the Fischer projection. Okay. So what would I do here now? So you can observe, if at all I take this carbon here, now what should be my eyesight? Very important how you are viewing. Now you have to view it from this end. You have to view it from this end. So when you watch it from this end, this BR should come on the right. Please get the feel of it. If anybody is not able to visualize, that's a problem. Okay, it will haunt you as you go towards more deeper understanding of isomerism. Start getting the view in your mind, right? So this, when you are watching this molecule from this end, this bromine and chlorine should be able to see it on your right hand side, and this hydrogen you should be able to see that on your left hand side. Okay, and how it should appear. See, this is the way it should appear. With respect to the center, bromine should be on the right, chlorine should be on the left, this hydrogen and this hydrogen should be here, CHO should be up, CH3 should be down. If anybody is still not able to visualize, they can ask me. See beta, when you're watching from up, when you're watching from up, what is the ground rule of it? That watch from the view which you are watching, the horizontal ones should be facing towards you. Are they not facing towards you? They are facing towards you, no? Correct? Since they are facing towards you, it is like you're standing here, beta. You're standing here and viewing them, okay? So when you stand here and watch it, how does it appear? See, same thing, I'll put it in 3D in a side view. In a side view, maybe that should help you. Like this. There is CHO and CH3 here. This is from the side view. As if this molecule, this hydrogen was going inside like this, and this was coming outside. This one was going inside, this one was coming outside. This is bromine, this is hydrogen, this is chlorine, this is hydrogen, and you are standing here and watching. Now tell me, is bromine on the right hand side or no? Okay, this hydrogen is on the left hand side, this hydrogen is on the right hand side, this hydrogen is on the left hand side. It is like you are holding a camera and watching and taking a photograph. Everyone, if you take a photograph of this, how does it appear? The bromine will come on the right, chlorine will come on the right, these two will go on the left, and the CHO and CH3 will come on the line like this. Will come on the line. Yes, beta. Now, good question. Suppose if at all I make this front carbon up and back this bottom carbon down, okay, and now you're watching it, then where will be chlorine? Tell me. You're here and you're watching the same way here, but you want to place this front carbon up, I mean the CH3 carbon up. So now the CH3 carbon is here, CHO carbon is here, got it? Now hydrogen is going inside, chlorine is coming outside. Here hydrogen is going inside, bromine is coming outside, and you are watching, you are taking photograph from this side. Now tell me, how does the photo look like in 2 dimension? Photograph is a 2 dimension, no? So this is CH3. Very good. So this side chlorine is left, bromine is right, hydrogen and hydrogen. Okay. Did you learn something from here? This Fischer projection, the minute I twist it, I make it round, then what would happen? I mean, if at all I completely change it, bring this CH3 here, CH3 there, and CHO here. So it is exactly turning everything, right? Bromine will turn, hydrogen will turn. So left will become right, right will become left. Acha. Oh, okay, okay. You meant to say this carbon bringing as the front carbon and this is the back carbon, correct? Okay, yes, you can make it. There is no issue with that. All right. So what I want you to learn one of the ways first, then slowly during the problem solving you can do that. Yes or no? Can you relate this or not? Let me know. Okay, okay. Check. No issues. Check. See, this is the back carbon, or rather on this molecule, if you check out this carbon, I want to keep it on top while viewing. Okay, so I'm holding this. All right, so I will hold this here and bring it here. While I'm bringing that, and I'm bringing this carbon here and making it stand. Okay, like a pole, I'm making it stand. So on this pole, if you see these two hydrogens and bromine, from my side point of view, from this point of view, this bromine is still facing towards me, and now this hydrogen is also facing towards me. But on the board, if you check it out, this bromine is coming away from outside the board, and this hydrogen is going inside the board. That will still be the same, na beta? This hydrogen is going inside the board, this bromine is coming outside the board. Same with this hydrogen is going inside the board, this chlorine is coming outside the board. Okay. Now when I'm viewing it, this hydrogen will appear on the left side of me because it is outside the board, because now I'm standing on the board. Imagine my eyesight is on the board now. I'm on the board. So with respect to me, the hydrogen is going inside. With respect to me, the bromine is going outside, which means it is on the right hand side. This hydrogen is on the left hand side. Now we'll do the reverse one. First, we took a three-dimensional molecule and draw Fischer, Sawhorst and Newman projection. Now I want to draw reverse, that is starting with Fischer, I want to draw Newman, Sawhorst and Wejen-Dash projections. Okay, so let us take one example. Suppose if you have COOH, CHO, OH, OH, H and H. Okay, so this is the Fischer projection. So I want all of you to first draw Sawhorst. Either you can represent in this form or this form. Anyways is correct. Newman is pretty simple, okay? What you can do, I'll tell you a simple technique. See, this OH on the same side, this HH are on the same side, this COH, CH are on the same side. Just draw a circle, write 3 lines, make 3 eclipsed form of it, and these two you put it on one side, these two you put it on one side, these hydrogens you put it on one side. Any side you put it, it is always correct. Okay. So because even if you make a rotation and say, it will always come onto the same side only. Okay. So same thing, whether you write up and down here this way or down and up here this way, it doesn't matter. Both these projections are correct. So Fischer to Newman is very simple. Newman to Fischer is also very simple. Alright. So if you just observe carefully, these two OH should be on the same side. Whether you write here or here, it doesn't matter. Okay. So the other way of writing, I'll show you the other way of writing. Got it? So which means you thought, okay, sir, why can't I write this side? Okay. You might be thinking like, sir, why can't I write OH on this side? You can still write on this side also, as long as you put the next OH on the same side. Okay. And you can put H here. So another H here. Got it? Then if you put CHO here, you just have to put COH here. So these two are exactly same. So there is no issue at that. You can always bring that same form. Got it? Same way, you can think in this way also. Sir, why can't I put OH up? Okay, you can put here also. Wherever you want to put, you can put this, because Fischer to Newman, there won't be any change in terms of their direction or anything. If OH is here and you put next OH here, and if H is here, you put next H there, and if CHO is here, you can just push next COH here. That's all. So all these 4 are same. Wejen-Dash representation, we have already seen that. So Fischer projection, first we have to decide the front carbon and back carbon. So in this, let us say I'm taking this as CHO and this as COOH. Got it? So which means this side I'm taking it as a front carbon, this is the back carbon. So in here, this is up, I mean coming out, this is going inside, this is coming out, this is going inside. So watch it from this point of watch it from this side here, because you have to view from this side. From this side, when COH is there, right side what I'm getting OH. So OH should be here, OH should be here, H should be here, H should be here. That's all. Now you know how to do the eclipsed form, right? What if I give you staggered? I want a Fischer projection out of it. See, is this clear, everybody? We'll go to the next example. Let's see the next example. Next example, what I'm doing, I'm giving you a staggered form. I want you to convert into Fisher projection. So for instance, if you have, keep writing with me, CH3, okay, sorry, staggered form, and I have C2H5, which is ethyl, and here and on this side I have chlorine coming out of the plane and hydrogen going inside the plane, while here chlorine coming out of the plane and hydrogen going inside the plane, like this. And I want you to convert to Fisher projection. Now understand this. To convert to Fisher projection, one important aspect which I told you about Fisher projection is it is always the eclipsed form. So first you have to convert this staggered form into eclipsed form. Then it would become very easy for you. So that is, first to convert this staggered form to eclipsed form, what should I do? I should make a 180-degree turn, either the front carbon or the back carbon. So I'm just taking this here and I'm rotating the back carbon so that this C2H5 comes down. CH3 is already down here. Cl is here and H is going inside here. Now observe this, what would happen to this chlorine? The chlorine which was coming out, now if you make 180 shift, it will go inside. So here it will go inside and the hydrogen which is inside will come out. So hydrogen would be here. So you can see this is the eclipsed form, while this was the given staggered form. Now once I know the eclipsed form, from here it is easy to convert into Fisher projection. I can take any of this as front and back carbon here, and I want this back carbon to come up. So I will first make two-dimensional lines here. Then if this is the back carbon on which there is C2H5, this is C2H5 and here there is CH3. Because you are watching from this point of view, this hydrogen will come on to the right hand side, this chlorine will come on to the left hand side. So it is chlorine, hydrogen, chlorine, hydrogen. No issue, beta, no issue. As of now, we are not discussing, we are not very strict about which is which has to keep on top or bottom. Okay, the same thing you can see if you put it in the same way. What should happen? CH3 will come up, C2H5 will come down here, Cl will be here, H will be here. Okay, sorry, H will be here, Cl will be here, and Cl will be here, H will be here. That's all. Okay, so suppose if your molecule is given this way with the Fisher projection, sorry, with the Newman projection, and it is said this is methyl, Me as in methyl, hydrogen, and an OH group. Here it is given Br, here it is given H, here I want CHO. This is the way it is. Now convert this into first Sawhorse, next Fisher. Do this. This is the way to show, because you can observe this is the staggered form of it. So if I can show the front carbon with methyl here, hydrogen here, and OH here. On the back carbon, you can see CHO is here, Br is here, and H is here. So it's pretty simple. See the Fisher projection now. One thing I told you that Fisher projection can only be drawn for eclipsed form. So first I have to convert this into the eclipsed form. So first we'll convert this into eclipsed form for our reference. Front carbon I'm keeping the same. I have methyl here, H here, and OH here. Back carbon I'm rotating by 180 degrees. So CHO will come here. You can see Br will come here and H will come here. All of you are able to see that? Okay. Now for Fisher projection, I can use either methyl up or CHO up. First I'm using methyl up, CHO down. So with respect to methyl, the way you have to view it from this only, right? From this side you have to watch it. Okay, so from this side if you watch it here, what would happen? These hydrogens are on the right hand side, this OH and Br on the left hand side. So you can see these two hydrogens, and here we have OH and Br. This is the Fischer projection. In case if you draw the Fischer projection in the opposite direction, that is if you put CHO here and methyl here, then their groups respectively group will only rotate. So bromine would come here, hydrogen would be here, OH will come here, H will be here. So both of them are same. First figure beta. Okay. According to Fischer projection, what it is, anything that is on the vertical line. How is this vertical line coming? See, here it is. Observe this carefully. First we have methyl, then a line which is connected to this carbon, front carbon. I'll call it as F carbon. So this front carbon is here, and which is connected to a back carbon, which is connected to a back carbon, which is connected to CHO. This is how it is. This is back carbon. And on the front carbon, you can see that OH is going inside and this H is coming outside. This one, this OH is, because as per you, it is on the left hand side, it is on this right hand side. When you are standing here, imagine you are standing here and watching this. Got it? So this would come, considering this is up, and the bottom carbon, this is the bottom carbon, that is down, this one. So here we can again have OH, Br on the left hand side and H on the right hand side, and this is where you are standing. This is the same thing I'm doing from here. Got it, beta? Right. So that's how you will get from here. Now once you get this, it is easy to visualize this, no? हाँ बेटा. हाँ बेटा. If you rotate 180, that will become eclipsed form. This is a staggered form now, so I'm writing only the staggered form. Okay. Yes. But Fischer projection can be only written for eclipsed form only, correct? So that is why I have to rotate that, and then only I have to show the Fischer projection. I hope all of you understood this point. Okay. Right. Now I think you should be comfortable enough to understand conformers. So give the heading as conformers. Okay. Just be patient for another 10 minutes, guys. Okay. Yeah. Tell me. हाँ बेटा. This one. Okay. Now watch this image. Can you see this image? Forget about everything. Just watch this image. On this image, if you are watching from this end, okay, you are watching this carbon and you are watching this carbon. These two carbons you are watching. With respect to these two carbons, you will find a line here. This is that line. Okay. And you will see this methyl is on the same line, because when you are watching, it has become, this entire molecule should become 2-dimensional. So this methyl will come on that same line. This is that line. This CHO should come on the same line here. This is that line. Okay. Now, where does this OH, which is inside the board, will appear to you? When you are watching here, it will come on to your left side, na? Left hand. Got it? This side, this H, which is coming out of the plane, should come on to the right hand side. Same is the case with this bromine and hydrogen. So left hand side, write OH and Br, right hand side, write H and H. So from this image, I hope you have you are able to understand how to get the Fischer projection. Got it? So is that image clear, beta? Now same image is exactly this if you observe from this end now. Okay, from which end? From this end. If you're watching from here, like this, got it? Because this carbon and this carbon should come on one particular line, I mean one particular point. This is that point, and this methyl is up, H, OH and H are down. Can you see that? So rest all is same. Okay, give the heading as conformers. Please write about conformers, everyone. So infinite forms of the same molecule, infinite forms of the same molecule formed by internal rotation, formed by internal rotation about sigma bond, are called conformations. Okay, now which means, suppose if you have this group like this, let's say this is the Sauer's projection of any particular group, and this is the sigma bond, this is the sigma bond I'm talking about. So with respect to this sigma bond, if at all I keep rotating at each and every angle 1 degree, so I will get at least 360 different molecules. Okay, so imagine every time I keep rotating 1 degree here, so I will get 360 different images, different molecules. Like that, if you take it for half angle, I will get 360 times 2. Like that, if you do for every smallest of the angles, how many you can get? Infinite. Got it? So which means I can get infinite forms of molecules just by changing small angles internally with respect to the sigma bond. All those are called conformations. Out of all these conformations, there would be minimum energy potentials, minimum potential energy which is present, or maximum potential energy which is present, which means there would be significant energy difference between certain two molecules. Those are called conformers. Right? So let us write down that. So out of infinite conformations which are corresponding to minimum potential energy, are called conformers. They are called conformers. Important point here, what is a conformer? You must understand. Correct. Now in generally, what we say, in general, isomers can be separated. So basically, if you have any two isomers, we should be able to separate them either by their difference in their boiling point, correct? Difference in their nature of reaction, difference in their hydration, anything. So we should be able to separate the isomers. But when it comes to conformers cannot be separated. Conformers cannot be separated or isolated as they will interconvert rapidly at room temperature. Surroundings will provide sufficient energy. Okay, which means it will keep moving and it will keep moving like this. Okay, so just watch my hand here now, if you want. Like this, imagine this is the most stable conformer. Okay, imagine like this. If at all I say that here this is a stable conformer, like this, it is a stable conformer. Okay, if they are this way, imagine if they are this way, this is eclipsed form, unstable. but if it is this way, they are staggered. Now, what will happen to the molecule? If there is any sigma bond between them, they'll keep moving this way. Continuously, they'll keep moving this way. Okay. This movement can keep happening as long as they are at room temperature. Only if they are going to a very, very low temperature, that movement might stop. But otherwise, there would always be a movement of this molecule happening. So there will be a significant energy difference. So in fact, it has been found at around 27 degrees. Got it? Molecule can accept around 20 kilocalories per mole of energy. Okay, so in fact, ethane will have a difference of 3 calories per mole. Ethane can make a difference of 3 calories per mole, which means within the minimum energy and maximum energy of that molecule, there is a difference of 3 kilocalories per mole. Next important point is there must be 4 atoms bonded. There must be 4 atoms bonded sequentially only by sigma bonds. Only by sigma bonds like this: A, B, C, and D. Okay, there has to be sequentially bonding like this for a compound to exhibit conformation. Compound to exhibit. What does this mean? Like this: A, then we have B, then we have C, then we have D. So minimum we should have a bonding of this 4. So does CH4 show any conformation? No, it can't show any conformation. CH4 cannot show any conformation. C2H6 can show, because this would be hydrogen, carbon, carbon, hydrogen. So you can have this bond. So definitely it can show conformation. So for instance, if this was a question asked once, that which of the following can show conformational isomerism? Options given are CH3Cl, H2O2, NH2OH, CH2 double bond CH2. Now let us see about CH3Cl. Okay, let us see that. So CH3Cl, if you check out what happened, C, we have this way: hydrogen, hydrogen, chlorine, hydrogen. So you can see there are only 3 atoms now. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We should require 4 atoms to be connected. So this cannot show. Okay, because there are only 3 atoms sigma bonded one after the other. Okay, so only 3 atoms sigma bonded one after the other. This is in A part. B, if you check out H2O2, you can see H, O, O, and H. Yes, they are connected. Here it is like A, B, C, D. All bonds are there. And other 2 parts are their lone pairs. Like this, because they have lone pairs. So they can act like groups, and they will contribute, and they will start showing conformational isomerism. So yes, B is correct. They will show this conformational isomerism. Next, in case of C, if you check out in case of C here, okay, we have NH2OH. NH2OH as in N has, 3 bonds here, 1, 2, 3, then O and H. So H and H with a lone pair on nitrogen here, and here also it has 2 lone pairs. So yes, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. So the 4 atoms are there. So because of their rotation, we can always say there is a conformation happening. Got it? So this is also correct. Then D. Check out in case if you have CH2 double bond CH2. In CH2 and CH2 here we have hydrogen, hydrogen, double bond, hydrogen, and hydrogen. although it has 4 atoms and they're all sigma bonded, one of them also has pi bond. So because of the pi bond, the rotation is restricted, so you cannot rotate the bond. Only in sigma bonds you can make the bond rotation. So here, due to restricted pi bond, no conformational isomers, no conformers are formed in case if you have any double bond formation. Let me take one more here, like CH3OH. Okay, in CH3OH also, if you can check it out, we have this way hydrogen, hydrogen, hydrogen here with lone pair and lone pair given, correct? So if I write this, in case if at all I write the Newman projection, see, imagine this is the back carbon. Imagine this is the back carbon. On the back carbon, I have 3 hydrogens. Okay. Now, front there is no carbon, there is oxygen. So that's why I'll write it as oxygen. And it has 2 lone pairs on it. 2 lone pairs on it. And 1 hydrogen. You can see this is the kind of Newman projection I can make. And this is a staggered conformation. So in case if at all I make this hydrogen to come here, then that will become eclipsed conformation. So yes, here also I can see conformation can exist. Make a note of this, everybody. Conformers for between these two, if you check it out, got it? Between this carbon and this carbon, there would be possible because you can rotate the bond there. Understood better? Got it? Not between this carbon and oxygen. So you need to have an unrestricted bond. Yeah. So you should be able to figure out in which case we will have conformations. Now, see the next term, what is known as bond angle. Bond angle is a very familiar one. It is simply angle between 2 bonds, and these are supposed to be covalent bonds, okay, which are directly attached to same atom. Like for example, if you have oxygen, there is hydrogen here and hydrogen here. So this is what we call it as bond angle. In water, in methane, this is called as bond angle. So because between two bonds, whatever the angle that has been made, which is directly connected to the same atom, carbon in this case. So that is called a bond angle. Then there is one more type of an angle called as dihedral angle. Dihedral angle. So dihedral angle is an angle between, okay, this is the angle between 2 bonds, right, which is directly attached to adjacent atoms. It's directly attached to adjacent atoms. Got it? For example, if you have here, you can see that in case if at all I put it this way, this is the Sawhorse projection. Got it? So the angle between these two, see between these two, how it is. Let me color them. Okay, this is a green color one. Got it? And let's say this blue color one. So I'm trying to find out what is the angle between these two, this green color one and this blue color one. All right. So this is that blue line and this is that green line. So the angle between them, so they are not literally connected to the same carbon, but they are connected to the adjacent carbon. This carbon and this carbon, they are connected to their respective adjacent carbon. But between those two, what is the bond angle represents dihedral angle. That type of an angle is called dihedral angle. Rather than showing more in the Sawhorse projection, it would be much familiar to show it in the Newman projection. Because in the Newman projection, if you observe, suppose if you have these groups here, like this. Okay, let's say this is some group A and this is some group B. So it is clearly evident that the angle between these two is 60 degrees. Got it? So that is the dihedral angle. Suppose in case if at all I take another Newman projection where I took this way, got it? And I'm trying to find out the angle between these two, then that theta is 180 degrees. Got it? Or suppose if at all I take one more form here, if I take eclipsed form like this, then the angle between these two is 0 degrees. So you can observe, we can say that if the dihedral angle is 0 between the similar groups, that is an eclipsed form. If it is 60 degrees, then it is a staggered form. Okay, I think you understood how we can differentiate that. So we will be talking a lot in terms of dihedral angle henceforth. And you can see dihedral angle is always relative, because with respect to the other carbon, how relative angle which it is making or how much rotation you are making makes it to have certain dihedral angle. So here I can show this angle as A carbon, see A carbon carbon B angle. That angle is theta, which is 60 degrees. Got it? Let's say here it is A, B, C, D. So then here it is angle A carbon carbon D angle is theta, which is 180 degrees. Right. Usually we need some data about how the angles are based upon certain angles. What will be the amount of potential energy which they can exist with. So for calculation purpose, potential energy data given is, check out. First data is with respect to dihedral angle. Dihedral angle, if theta is 0 degrees, then the repulsive forces between CH3 and CH3, if the angle between them is 0, then it is 4 kilocalories per mole. And if it is between CH3 and hydrogen, it is 1.5 kilocalories per mole. In exam also you will get this data, okay? So with hydrogen and hydrogen, it will be 1 kilocalorie per mole. If the angle of angle between them is 0 degrees. Second, if the dihedral angle is 60 degrees, got it? Then CH3 repulsions will give us around 0.9 kilocalories per mole, and any other forms CH3H or H and H are negligible. So that's why when it comes to staggered form, usually in staggered form we will have 60 degrees angles. So in staggered form we will only consider the data of CH3 rest the repulsions of CH3H or H and H we always take it as negligible.